Oh, we are back from Regency Furniture Stadium. It is Friday night. The rain has been coming. It's been going. Hopefully it holds off. Regency Furniture Stadium. It's a sunny afternoon today. There's not any rain in the forecast. Hopefully, we get through a couple of quick games for this evening's doubleheader between the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the Long Island Ducks. The Blue Crabs will send Adrian Cook to the mound in Game 1. He'll take on Ryan Meisinger for the Long Island Ducks. We've got a lot to get to today. We've got lineups. We have defensive alignment. We've got some more information on the pitchers to break down. But first, we had an opportunity to catch up with Blue Crabs first baseman Jared Walker before the game yesterday. Let's take a listen. Oh, we are back from Regency Furniture Stadium. It is Friday night. The rain has been coming. It's been going. Hopefully it holds off. Otherwise, we'll play this interview on Saturday before Game 1 of the doubleheader. Austin Rooney joined by Jared Walker. Now, Jared, you had a race yesterday against Alex Crosby, and you took the title by just about a half step. You clearly have just a little more speed than him. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a fun race. I mean, I'm a big form guy, so excuse me. I definitely had the better start than him. He just kind of was up there running, and I mean, obviously, if you have a good form and you get a good start, you can get going. But I think I can get him with a whole step and a half next time.
All right, and you've since challenged me to a 5-mile run, but you say this has to wait until after the season?
Yeah, I mean, I could do it mentally anytime I want. I got that David Goggins mentality. So anytime you want to do it, man, I'll do it. But I just don't want to, do it during the season to affect anything. Speaking over us and me trying to hit homers out there.
You got to love the Goggins mentality, though. It's a real boost.
Yes, I mean, I'm a big mental guy when it comes to baseball. My physical side is where it is, in my career at 26. But just the fact of his thing is stay hard and, not letting a lot of things get to him. And through my adversity of life and things, I know this interview is going a different direction, but I think that's a very powerful mental cue to have when you're a professional baseball player or just a person in general going throughout their day.
Yeah, David Goggins' book is amazing. If you haven't actually read it yet or listened to it on audio, Can't Hurt Me. It's not an advertisement, but I can't endorse it enough. It's a great book. You should definitely check it out. On to our next segment. I was hearing from some guys in the office that you're changing your walk-up song frequently. This is once a week, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. So what's behind the change in the walk-up song here?
I've never done that in my career. I just come to the field, just kind of play music as I go. I'm a big music guy. I've been from Atlanta. I love rap, country, kind of just all those mixes of genres. And I just play old music, and I'm listening to the beats and, how much it puts me in a zone like I was when I was younger. And it kind of just rang my bell, and I started sending the messages out. And every day I'm, trying to just say, I'm going to go with this one today. I'm going to go with that one today. Nothing very particular. I know a lot of guys that are superstition when it comes to it, and I used to be that guy, but I'm trying to get out of that because it does no good when you're overthinking that. So it's just fun. I mean, new walk-ups, new feeling, new everything. It's cool.
I know you say you're not superstitious, but you hit a couple home runs, you drive in 5 RBIs. Is that staying the next day, or could it very well be on the way out?
It could be on the way out. I mean, it just depends on. It might stay another day. But it just. Yeah, that's a tough one. But who knows?
All right, so we got a couple baseball-related questions, then we're going to hit our trivia segment here. So you played at first base this year. You played in left field. Is there a position that you prefer out there on the diamond?
I mean, my bread and butter is the first base. Through my career, I was drafted at third, played a lot of third base, which I love third base. I think I can make it happen at any level. It just takes a lot more work out of myself and a lot more in a routine. But first base, if I had to play anywhere and compete and take out anybody as far as just the talent over there, I would say first. Outfield, it's more natural because, I played in high school, but I think I can get that job done at any level as well. But I think I can help the team save runs and do those type of things as a defensive player at first base.
Gotcha. On to the hitting side of things. We've seen some of your power come, especially in spurts this year. I mean, you hit 15 home runs. You consider yourself generally a power bat as opposed to a contact guy, or a little both?
Through my career, I'm mixing it now. Don't get me wrong. I've had a up and down season, but when it comes to being a hitter, I might have 15 homers and things like that. And when you look at the team, I think that's leading the team. Right. But I try to tone down on knowing that I'm still getting my walks and still taking advantage of those, because what comes with power usually for any professional hitter is strikeouts or those type of things. And I'm trying to weigh out all of those options so where nothing looks like it's leaking more than the other. So when it comes to contact and all that, I love to have that in my back pocket, take my hits, take my singles, all those things to course along that. And don't get me wrong, playing here at Furniture Stadium, love it here. But as a lefty, I think that for me, I can the teammates always joke with me saying that I'd have way more home runs than I would playing here.
Well, if you were in Lancaster, I think that you probably have 25 or 30.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, Lancaster's right field porch is about 300 all the way to right center. It is about as shallow as a professional ballpark as you're going to find. We're on to our final segment. This is the trivia question segment. We just added it about a couple of weeks ago. A lot of these come from our official scorer, Blaine Pilkerton. And we have a couple of more than questions. So we're going to start with, which player has more career home runs, Mike Trout or Robinson Cano? Mike Trout or Robbie Cano? Who has more home runs?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Mike Trout.
Well, the answer is that Mike Trout has 334 home runs. Robbie Cano's got 335. So
I won that.
No,
I lost by
one. You lost by one.
Hey, ask if you know who Clark Kent is.
Come on. You know who Clark Kent is?
Yeah, he's the guy from Superman.
I didn't know that last night.
Don't worry about it. My knowledge of Clark Kent, it has nothing to do with this. Joe Walsh has come in here and he's taken over the interview. All right, we have two more questions here. Which player has won more Gold Gloves, Johnny Bench or Yadier Molina?
Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench has 10. Molina's got 9.
Yes, sir.
One for two. All right, this is actually going to be a two-part question here. Does Freddie Freeman have more or fewer, I should say, than 1,000 RBIs? Freddie Freeman, more or fewer than 1,000 RBIs? Yes.
Freddie Freeman, I looked him up the other day. He has fewer.
1,009.
But that just happened within the last, when I looked at it.
Probably right.
Now, if you asked me in the preseason, I would have said fewer. But he's having I think he's batting 320 something right now, so he's probably banging in some runs.
Last one here. Paul Goldschmidt, more than or fewer than 1,000 RBIs?
Fewer.
1,009 also.
I mean, come on. They just did that within a week, so, I mean, these questions have to be updated daily. Ask me something that you think of right now and see if I get it right, and we'll Google it.
Alex Rodriguez, how many home runs did he have in his career?
Alex,
yeah.
Alex Rodriguez, how many home runs did he have?
Do you want me to answer the question? Or
696 home runs.
I thought it was 697.
Nope.
Was it 696?
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess you take this that part of the trivia question. But all right, Jared, thanks for joining us on the pregame show today.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, I had some fun there interviewing Jared Walker. I hope you also enjoyed our pregame show live from Regency Furniture Stadium, as the Blue Crabs and Ducks are just about 10 minutes away from first pitch in Game 1 of this doubleheader. The national anthem is just moments away. We'll run you through the starting lineups for both teams before we send you to break. It's Phil Caulfield who leads things off for the Long Island Ducks. He's followed by Matt Chamberlain. Alejandro Diaz bats third, and Sam Travis is the cleanup hitter. Davidson Romero bats fifth. It's Carlos Castro in the sixth spot. Jackson McGowan bats seventh. It's Vladimir Frias who bats eighth, and Dustin Woodcock closes out the order. Ryan Meisinger will be on the mound in the bottom of the first inning for the Long Island Ducks. But first, let's bring you the Blue Crabs starting nine. It's Jack Sundberg in left field. He leads things off. Michael Wolanski bats second. It's Zach Collier who bats third. David Harris is the cleanup hitter for the Blue Crabs tonight. Alex Crosby bats fifth. Braxton Lee in the sixth spot, while Jared Walker bats seventh at first base. Ryan Haug is doing the catching tonight, while Michael Baca bats ninth. In game one of this doubleheader, the Blue Crabs will hand the ball off to Adrian Cook. We'll step aside now. It's time for the national anthem from Regency Furniture Stadium. Don't go anywhere.
Direct your attention on home plate and welcome Carly Rice for the performance of our national anthem.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, we are back from Regency Furniture Stadium, just moments away from the first pitch in this evening's ball game as Adrian Cook takes the mound for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Been a tough couple of goes for Adrian Cook this year. In his first outing, he went just a third of an inning. He walked 3 batters. He also hit one in just 1/3 of an inning. He also allowed 4 hits and 7 runs. 6 of them were earned. It was a very tough first start. In his second start, things got a little bit better, but not much. 4 1/3. He allowed 6 runs, 4 earned. He walked 8 in that one. He did strike out 6 batters across 4 1/3 innings. Phil Caulfield steps in. The first pitch is a called strike, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. I'm sure that is a welcome sight for Adrian Cook and Blue Crabs fans as he's started this ball game with a called strike. 0-1, a little bit low and in, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And if there's one thing that has plagued him thus far, it's been the walks. There's certainly no question about that. 8 walks last appearance, 11 walks in the last 4 2/3. Pitch, foul back behind home plate, count 1 ball and 2 strikes on the lefty, Phil Caulfield. We're going to run you back through the starting lineup for the Long Island Ducks in just a couple of moments. 1-2 pitch upcoming from Cook. Oh, low and in. Might have actually been behind Caulfield that time. Somehow missed him. That one looked like it was tailor-made for a hit by pitch. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll bring you around the diamond defensively in the starting lineup in just a couple of moments. Pitch on the ground over towards second base. It's fielded shoulder height by Michael Wolanski. The flip to first is in time, and there is 1 away. There is a gentle breeze blowing in from right field. As there is 1 away in the top of the first inning for the 2-hitter. That's Matt Chamberlain, who was not supposed to get the start yesterday, or really today for that matter, but LJ Mazzilli unavailable. And that brings Chamberlain to the lineup. Pitch, ground ball over to short, fielded chest high. The toss to first is in time. A couple of 4-3 putouts to get us started in the top of the first inning. 2 up and 2 down from Adrian Cook, as I'm sure he'd like nothing more than an awfully quick 1-2-3 first inning. And he has fulfilled the first 2 parts of that hole. Here is Alejandro De Aza, who comes into this ball game with the best batting average in the Atlantic League. He's at .351. Second place, David Harris at .339. Speaks volumes of what De Aza's been able to do at this age. First pitch. Called strike. That's at the knees, and the count 0-1. Alejandro De Aza has had a decorated Major League Baseball career. The base path's empty, and 2 outs. No score from the Reg in Waldorf. Cook is set of the chest. Pitch a little bit low. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Nobody on. Here's the pitch to De Aza. That's low, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Well, let's give you some more numbers on Alejandro De Aza over the years. He's now 38 years old. Played last year with the Barnstormers and was expected to return there, but ended up signing elsewhere in Long Island this year. Pitch, this one, swinging a high fly ball, belted to right. It's Braxton Lee who goes back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, Alejandro De Aza in his storied big league career and his terrific year this year in the Atlantic League. No match for Adrian Cook, who retires the side in order in the top of the first. Blue Crabs come to bat when we come back.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service. Well, Jack Sonnenberg will get the Blue Crabs started in the bottom of the first inning. It's a scoreless ball game between Southern Maryland and Long Island as Ryan Meisinger comes to the mound for the Long Island Ducks. Meisinger has played with 10 teams across 7 seasons of affiliated baseball. First pitch to Jack Sonnenberg, a little bit outside on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Let's bring you through the Blue Crabs starting lineup and the defensive alignment for the Long Island Ducks, as the count is 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty. First, the pitch from Meisinger. Swing and a miss. Fastball maybe a little off the outside corner, but Sonnenberg swung through it, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Blue Crabs, Sonnenberg bats first, Michael Wolanski bats second. It's Zach Collier in the 3 spot, while David Harris is the cleanup hitter. Alex Crosby bats 5th. Pitch foul back behind home plate, count 1-2. Braxton Lee in the 6th spot, he's in right field. Jared Walker bats 7th, he's at first base. Ryan Haug is doing the catching, he bats 8th. And Michael Baca closes out the order, he is the shortstop. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Meisinger buries the curveball and gets Sonnenberg to swing through it. There is 1 away in the top of the first inning. Here comes Wolanski. Back to Ryan Meisinger. He pitched in AAA this season in Reno. A 6.14 ERA. And he was released from AAA. And since joining Long Island, a 2-2 record with a 5.93 earned run average. Pitch up and away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Ryan Meisinger played in the MLB as recently as last season with the Chicago Cubs with a 12.27 ERA. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball. It's shallow. It's going to stay actually in the infield as the shortstop, Phil Caulfield, camps under it, makes the catch for the second out. Well, a very quick 2 up and 2 down from the starting pitcher, Ryan Meisinger. And here comes Zach Collier. Zach Collier has only played a single game since returning from injury. The first pitch is way upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Supposed to play, of course, each of the last 2 days. But back-to-back rainouts And the Blue Crabs have had a couple of off days. You'd have to think this bullpen, with the exception of Matt Latos, back to full strength. But with these 7-inning games, you probably don't need the bullpen all that much. 1-0 pitch is low, and the count 2-0, of course, barring an extra innings game. Had a chance to talk with Zach Collier prior to Thursday's game. Trying to get all the days straight here with the Thursday and Friday rain out. Pitch, called strike, and the count 2-1. Two balls, one strike, nobody out. Collier at the dish. It is Harris on deck. 3 and 4 in the Blue Crabs lineup to come if necessary, but there are 2 away. Pitch, swinging a slow topper behind home plate, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Collier. So let's bring you around the diamond now. Matt Chamberlain's in left, Alejandro De Aza in center, Dustin Woodcock is in right field, Davidson Romero's at third base, Phil Caulfield at short, Vladimir Frias is at second. It's the first baseman, Jackson McGowan, and Carlos Castro is doing the catching. The big Carlos Castro, he's got a big bat. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. A 2-2 breaking ball stays away from Collier. In the first inning, Ryan Meisinger picks up a pair of strikeouts and a pop-out to end things in the first inning. A pair of 1, 2, 3 innings in the first. We go to the top of the second from the Reg in Waldorf.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, the Ducks go 4, 5, and 6 in the top of the second inning. It's a scoreless ball game from the Reg in Waldorf. The first of 2 7-inning contests this evening. As Adrian Cook comes set, the first pitch upcoming to Sam Travis. It's low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Mostly sunny this evening. And we're happy to say that this first ball game started at 4 p.m. as opposed to 5 p.m. 1-0 pitch, check swing, deflects off the bat of Travis toward the netting in the count 1-1. It's very nice for really everybody involved in this whole situation, because if things go as scheduled, then you generally count about 10 minutes per half inning, which means 7 full innings. You're looking at about 2 hours, 20 minutes. Pitch, swing and a miss, count 1-2. A really nice breaking ball from Adrian Cook, and he's ahead in the count 1-2. So this game, finishes up by around 6:30. You should have the start of the second game by 7. And if that one's a 2.5-hour game, 9:30, which is when the game would normally end. Pitch on the ground towards second, field in the backhand. Nice job by Baca. He fires across the diamond. It's in time. And Sam Travis down on the ground out to short. Michael Baca, one of the most consistent infielders in the Atlantic League. It's a tough defensive play there on the backhand. Makes it look easy as Davidson Romero comes to the plate. Romero will be followed by Castro, 5 and 6 for the Long Island Ducks against Adrian Cook, who up until this point has done a complete 180 from his first 2 starts. And the first pitch is low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. An inning and a third so far, 4 up and 4 down. Up until this point, 4 2/3 innings. He has walked 11 and allowed a total of 13 runs. 1-0 pitch, a little bit low in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. The wind was blowing earlier. The flag now at a standstill in right center. Pitch called strike. In the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Have to imagine on a Saturday afternoon like this with decent weather. Pitch just a little outside, looked pretty good, but the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe, says he didn't go around. We're going to get back to the weather in just a moment, but let's give you your umpires for tonight's ball game. Derek Moshe behind home plate. It's Nate Caldwell at first, and P.J. McConville, who is at third base. 3-1, breaking ball, called strike, count 3-2. And right now, the stands aren't exactly packed, but it's hot, it's humid. I'd imagine by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, this place is awfully full. Pitch on the ground, over towards shortstop. Baca fields between the legs. He fires the first. 2 up, 2 down in the second. Back in the first inning, a pair of groundouts to second, and here in the second inning, a pair of groundouts to short. And Carlos Castro, the catcher, will dig in. Well, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs come into this ball game with a record of 63 and 28. The Ducks 46 and 46. A lot on the line here for both the Ducks, for mostly the Ducks, and the Blue Crabs as well, of course, that they're shooting for history. But as things stand right now, the Ducks remain out of that wild card playoff spot. Pitch is a little bit low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. But there's just a whole debacle as to what's going on with that wild card spot and how many wild card spots are going to be. Pitch called strike, count 1 ball and 1 strike. So let's clear things up for everybody. If the Gastonia Honey Hunters end up winning the second half, and as things stand right now, looks pretty likely. They're up by 8 games on the Kentucky Wild Health Genomes. What happens then? Well, then if Gastonia wins and Lancaster holds on in the North Division as the 1-1 pitch is up and in, that's where things are right now. There'll be 1 wild card spot. So among the teams that did not win either the first half or the second half in either division, it's then the team with the next best record, which would currently be the Kentucky Wild Health Genomes, who are 49 and 44. 2-1 pitch, I guess that's a called strike, as the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe, just put up 2 fingers, did not do the traditional slide to the side. So it's the Genomes who currently have the lone wild card spot. Now with the Blue Crabs past Lancaster, that opens up a second wild card spot, and Lancaster would then still be in that position to win the wild card, but the Ducks shortly there behind them at 46 and 46. High point also in this conversation as the 2-2 pitch way up and in on Castro. It hits him on the left arm, and now there's a runner on first base with 2 outs. Among teams that don't really have a shot here, you're really just looking at Staten Island and York, although York's not totally out of it, but they're not in a good spot. And then in the South, Charleston and Lexington are long shots, to put it nicely. But the High Point Rockers, despite starting 9-19 here in the second half, still have the third best record in the league. Pitch a little bit outside, or I should correct that. They have a 48-46 record. That's third best among non-first half winners. So, of course, Southern Maryland first, Gastonia second, and then you have Lancaster, Kentucky, and High Point. They're all right there in the mix of things. 1-0 pitch, way low and away in the count. 2 balls and no strikes on the 7-hitter, Jackson McGowan. Runner on first base, that's Carlos Castro, who reached after a couple of ground outs to shortstop. 2-0 pitch, runner goes. It's inside, throw down to second, offline. It goes into center field, and now Castro takes off from third. He'll jog in easily. It's a stolen base and a throwing error. And it goes against the catcher. That's Ryan Haug, whose throw was to the first base side of second base and pretty far to the first base side. It was going to be a tough one for the second baseman, Michael Wolanski, to pick, and therefore the error against Ryan Haug. Runner on third base is Carlos Castro. Pitch a little bit inside. It's ball 4. So Castro reaches on a hit-by pitch. McGowan now walks. So back-to-back runners reached for the Ducks. Now last one, it's not a good walk. It's a 4-pitch walk, but for the most part, Cook wasn't missing wildly. He had a couple that were pretty far outside, but ball 3 and ball 4 were both borderline pitches. I think that, in all fairness, Derek Moshe made the right call. They were both balls, but they were close. But McGowan on base. First pitch swinging. This one toward the right field hole. It's a base hit. Somehow hopped over Jared Walker. Now back into second. It's not going to be quite in time to get the runner Jackson McGowan. Either way, it scores Carlos Castro on a base hit to right field. It got over the head of Jared Walker, past the diving reach of Michael Wolanski. And it's an RBI single for Vladimir Frias and a 1-0 lead for the Long Island Ducks. Here is Dustin Woodcock, the 9-hitter, with 2 on and 2 out and 1 run in already for the Long Island Ducks as Carlos Castro came in and scored on the RBI single from Vladimir Frias. First pitch, tap foul behind home plate, count no balls and 1 strike, and Cook seems to have done a much better job of finding the strike zone in this one. And that seemed to really be what was holding him back before, but still 2 free passes given out here in the second, a hit batter and a walk. In a 1-2-3 first inning, but Woodcock, the 9-hitter, and of the first 8, only 2 free passes, a major step in the right direction for Adrian Cook. Pitch. That's away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 5 up and 5 down to get things started for Adrian Cook. Since then, Carlos Castro hit by a pitch. Jackson McGowan reaches on a walk. And Vladimir Frias a single to right field. 1-1 offering. Low, snap throw down to second. It's a good one, not quite in time to get McGowan, who had a large lead. Baca was there. He applied the tag, but just a hair late, according to the third base umpire, P.J. McConville. Really strong throw from Ryan Haug. The count is 2-1 after the pitch missed and the snap throw. Frias from first, McGowan from second. There have been a couple of checks on McGowan that have been close. Here's the pitch. That's low and in, count 3-1. You have to wonder if base runners are having an effect on Adrian Cook. And it's not like he's keeping them on that closely to the effect that he's constantly throwing over. We'll have to see how much he's really looking at the runners as he's coming set here. He gets a sign from Haug. Looked back once at the runner at second base. That was all. Pitch, called strike, count 3-2. So he really seems to be blocking out the runners on base because he did not look at Frias once there with runners on first and second. Looked back at McGowan just once. Either way, count 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-0 Ducks. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Adrian Cook finishes the top of the second inning with a strikeout. He didn't walk one. He hit one. He allowed a run, but he gets out of the inning without further trouble. It's 1-0 Ducks as we go to the bottom of the second.
This is Darryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, the Blue Crabs surrendered the first run in the top of the second inning as Adrian Cook surrendered an RBI single to Vladimir Frias, scoring Carlos Castro. It's 1-0 Ducks as David Harris will come to the plate in the bottom of the second inning. Blue Crabs sent 4, 5, and 6. Harris, Crosby, and Lee to the plate. And if necessary, Jared Walker to follow. David Harris is a very interesting approach to the plate. He takes a couple of these practice swings with the top hand, maybe a third of the way up the bat, and takes these sort of half swings. I'm not entirely sure what they do for his batting. I mean, the first pitch is a called strike of the belt, and the count 0-1, and what that does for his approach, but it's something I've never seen before. And now that I think about it, I'll have to ask him after today's ball game. We'll report back to you tomorrow. Maybe if I've got a chance between games, we can get that all sorted out. 0-1 pitch. A little bit low in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. In the bottom of the second inning, the Ducks already have a 1-0 lead. And normally a 1-0 lead in the second is something you don't even really think about. But it's more like the fourth inning now as the pitch is up and in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Instead of a traditional 9-inning game, this one just 7 innings, which means that you just add 2 innings to whatever inning you're in. It gives you a better idea of what stage you are in the baseball game. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Count 3-1 to David Harris, who's hitting .339 on the year. Blue Crabs and Ducks have the top 2 hitters by batting average in the league. Diazza, the center fielder for the Ducks, has the best batting average at .349. Harris at .339. 3-1 pitch. Upstairs, ball 4, so Harris doesn't get a hit, but he does get a walk, and the leadoff man on for Southern Maryland in the bottom of the first inning. Alex Crosby comes to the plate. Blue Crabs in their red jerseys today with the blue numbers. And the white pants, the Ducks, orange jerseys, gray pants. And Alex Crosby digs back in, just a touch below 300 as the pitch is foul back behind home plate at 299. 7 homers, 67 RBIs, but it's tough to find a more consistent hitter than Alex Crosby. We haven't gotten to interview Crosby yet. We've been up and down this Blue Crabs lineup a few times, and we've gotten to most guys, not quite everybody yet for our pregame interview. The postgame interview, I think we've got everybody for that already. 0-1 pitch to Crosby, a big wave and a miss in the count, 0-2. You can listen back to some of our older broadcasts from the past couple weeks or so and listen to the interviews to Sundberg, Wilansky, Collier, gotten Lee. Eddie Butler's been on the pregame show. Crosby hasn't been on yet, but believe me, he will be there. Pitch, line drive, right field. This one stays up, not quite long enough. And it bounces in front of Dustin Woodcock. It's a single for Alex Crosby. The Blue Crabs have 2 on with nobody out to get things going in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 Ducks over the Blue Crabs tonight. And there's a brief meeting of the mound now between Carlos Castro and Ryan Meisinger. And Jared Walker will step in on the on-deck circle. Braxton Lee hitting .308. He has 3 home runs in his last 5 games. Lee has virtually no bend at the knees, and then he bends, and now he bunts in front of home plate, but it's going to be a foul ball. Must have hit off of home plate. The count 0-1. Now Braxton Lee this is a newer batting stance from him. We looked at some video from him back in 2018. Didn't have the same batting stance. It was more a bend at the knee to start and then a step, but as is right now, feet very close together. No bend at the knee, and then he bends and steps all at once. A lot going on there, but it's proved very successful for the lefty. Pitch, low and in, count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Successful enough for him to have a .308 batting average and 52 RBIs. This most recent homestand that we're on right now has been particularly kind to Braxton Lee. 7 for 15 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. And now they're going to call a balk. All 3 umpires saw it. The balks could be very hard to detect for the untrained eye. I was looking down at my stat sheet right as they gave the call, so not entirely sure what exactly the move was that triggered the balk, I should say. So now it's Harris on third and Crosby on second. This balk could prove awfully costly from Braxton Lee's perspective. At least get 1 run in. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, left center field. Not all that deep, but should be deep enough as Chamberlain makes the catch and left. He fires into the third baseman. That's Davidson Romero scoring from third base. It's David Harris, and the Blue Crabs have tied the score at 1. Alex Crosby unable to advance from second to third on the sacrifice fly from Braxton Lee as Jared Walker has entered. He has a new walk-up song to come with it. And we talked about some of those walk-up songs. He says he doesn't usually do this, hasn't done this in the past, but he's driving to the ballpark. Here's a good song. He stops it. He says, it's the walk-up song tonight. Alex Crosby on second. Jared Walker at the plate. Jared Walker had a race yesterday. I guess was it 2 days ago at this point. The days that with the rainouts, everything's all sort of blending together. Meisinger comes set. Here's the pitch. Called strike, and the count 0-1. He had a race with Alex Crosby, and now that I think about it, it was on Thursday. And they had a sprint, and Crosby got a very slow start to things. Jared Walker had a big initial lead and ended up winning by about a half a step as the 0-1 pitch is away, and the count 1-1 strike. Got that photo finish, and Walker just a hair ahead. 1 strike, 1 out, bottom of the second inning. In a 1-1 ball game. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, right center field. This one rather deep. It sends Woodcock back. He's at the warning track, and he makes the catch. Tagging from second to third, it's Alex Crosby, who's in there sliding safely. And that is a home run at some parks across the Atlantic League, not here at the Reg in Waldorf, where right center field is about as deep as you're going to find in a professional ballpark. It doesn't get much deeper than deep right center here. And left center is rather deep, but right center is just massive. It's 325 at the pole, and it juts out to probably 370. And it doesn't go in. It just goes deeper and deeper and deeper until it hits the batter's eye in dead center. Pitch low and away to Ryan Haug, the righty, in the count 1 strikes. 2 away in the bottom of the second inning. Braxton Lee managed to drive in a run on his sacrifice fly to left, but he couldn't move Alex Crosby from second to third. And with that, the Blue Crabs advance Crosby to from second to third on a sacrifice, on a fly out to right, I should say, as the 1-0 pitch is fouled back, and the count 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Haug. Called strike, count 1-2. Clips just the very outside corner, and Ryan Meisinger's evened, or is ahead of the count 1-2. The Blue Crabs have evened the score 1-1 in the second, in the first of 2 7-inning ball games. Meisinger, the pitch, tap foul, third base side, and Ray Ortega feels it between the legs. Tosses to the dugout. Have to see if a lucky fan's going to get the ball. And Darrell Thompson tosses it up. Blue Crabs with Adrian Cook and Eddie Butler on the mound tonight. Ryan Meisinger is the starting pitcher in Game 1 for the Long Island Ducks. Stephen Tarpley in Game 2 for Long Island. Under rather blue skies, and hopefully not a storm to speak of. Meisinger, the 1-2. Swinging a ground ball slowly to third. No, it's going to go off of the front foot to Ryan Haug, and that's not fun. And he stays on one knee in the batter's box. Lauren Eck jogs out to have a chat with him, as he got a bit of a stop in the action as he sort of kicks out his foot. It's about as uncomfortable of a feeling as you're going to get. The Blue Crabs just lost Ryan Haug about a week and a half ago to an injury. He was out for just under a week. Mike Falsetti filled in the meantime. And I can tell you the Blue Crabs really value what Ryan Haug brings to this team at the plate, and you'd have to hope it's nothing more than a bruised foot, but that's got to hurt. And he does not have that protected padding on the foot either, so it's direct right to his foot. Lauren Eck and Blue Crabs manager Stan Clyburn return to the dugout. It looks like the Blue Crabs will move on with Ryan Haug in this baseball game, as the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe, continues to supervise the chat with Carlos Castro and the pitcher Ryan Meisinger. So after a lengthy 5 pitches and a delay to check on Ryan Haug's foot, we play on. 1-2 pitch. That's, a called strike 3. Didn't look close. And Haug says to the home plate umpire, you've got to be kidding me. That was outside, and certainly Castro moved his glove a lot. Ryan Haug has not left the batter's box. He's still staring at the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. We're going to get the official ruling from TrackMan in just a little bit, but that looked wildly outside. Either way, that ends the bottom of the second inning. It's a 1-1 ball game from the Reagan Waldorf.
Made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. So please join us in a moment of silence to honor these great servicemen and women. Never forget, thank you.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, first pitch is a called strike, and the count, no balls and 1 strike to get things started on Phil Caulfield. Count, no balls and 1 strike on the lefty. Here's the 0-1. Big wave and a miss, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out from Southern Maryland. A 1-1 ball game. The Ducks scored 1 in the top of the second. The Blue Crabs got 1 back in the bottom of the second. Pitch, line drive, right field. This finds some grass down the right field line. Braxton Lee's going to fire in. And Phil Caulfield thought about 2, but Lee's got a cannon. You don't run on him. And he was held at first base after a long turn. And there's a leadoff single to get things started for Caulfield here in the third. Well, Adrian Cook had a very strong start to this outing. 5 up and 5 down, but since then, 4 of the last 5 batters have reached. A hit by pitch, a walk, an RBI single. He struck out Woodcock to end the inning, but a leadoff single to get things started here in the third against Phil Caulfield. First pitch to Matt Chamberlain. Bunt is popped up, and Ryan Howe gets there quickly to make the catch. A bad bunt from Matt Chamberlain as he pops one up. That's an interesting decision when 4 of your last 5 batters have reached. Not only are you going to bunt and try to just advance your runner, you don't have enough confidence that you're going to get a base hit or even get on base, but just completely sacrifice yourself and then not even get that done as he pops it up and is a free out for the Blue Crabs. Not a lot of things that are less effective than a pop-up bunt. Can be just completely a backbreaker for a team that's trying to move a runner and just gives away an out for free. Took 1 pitch for Cook to record the out as well. Fires over to first to check on Caulfield. Alejandro De Aza at the plate from the left side. His batting average now just a tick below 350 at 349. After starting the game at 351, he has the best numbers in the Atlantic League. Once again, Adrian Cook tosses over to first base. Alejandro De Aza was the co-player of the month in the month of July. Blue Crabs had the pitcher of the month in Eddie Butler. And Cook tosses over once more. The last time that Alejandro De Aza played affiliated ball was back in 2019 with the Minnesota Twins at the age of 35. After he started the year with the New Britain Bees and hit 346. Pitch just missed by a little bit in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. The crazy thing about his stint in AAA with Rochester is that he hit 352 with a 1042 OPS across 35 games. That's enough that you'd think he'd make an imprint enough to at least get some MLB time in 2019, but De Aza did not. The 1-0 pitch is low and in. Count 2 balls and no strikes on De Aza. Since then, he spent time in Lancaster last year hitting 322. And with the Ducks hitting 351. Last played in Major League Baseball in 2017 with the Washington Nationals, hit just 194. Pitch, this is a swing and a miss. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on first base, 1 out. Blue Crabs 1, the Ducks 1. On the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network, De Aza will be followed by Sam Travis. Cook. Here's the 2-1. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. He gets away from Baca on a bounce. Wolansky comes up. He fires the third. It's not going to be in time to get Travis. Or I beg your pardon, that's Phil Caulfield, who advanced to second on the stolen base. And then that ball skipped a little bit out of the glove of Baca, who made a pretty good play on the ball. Wolansky was there to back up, got to the ball quickly, fired to third, but not quite in time to get Phil Caulfield, who takes 2 bases on that play. So I guess there are 2 errors now. Who's that going to go against? It's a little tough to say. It wasn't a bad throw from Howe. It bounced once before it reached Baca. Wasn't a bad pick by Baca either. It's sort of like, who are you going to give that to? Error is going to go against Baca. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Adrian Cook battled back. He was behind in the count, 2-0 to De Aza, and he strikes out the Atlantic League's best batter by batting average, and there are 2 away. Trying to work out of the 3rd inning. Without further damage. Ran himself into a bit of an issue with a walk to Caulfield. got a gift from a pop out from from Matt Chamberlain, and now a strikeout to De Aza. First pitch is inside in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Now thinking back to that run that the Blue Crabs pitcher Adrian Cook allowed back in the second, that might have gone down as unearned. Still awaiting the official ruling on that. Pitch, swinging a line drive, very well hit to left. This one back to the warning track. It's off the Educational Federal Credit Union side. It's an RBI single off the bat of Sam Travis as he lines it off the mini monster in left. It's 2-1 Ducks in the top of the third inning. A very well hit ball from Sam Travis, but Jack Sundberg played it well. He holds him to just a single. Caulfield comes in and scores from third base rather easily. But it's an RBI single from Sam Travis. And just as I was about to explain that back in the second inning, Carlos Castro was hit by a pitch. He stole second and reached third on an error. Jackson McGowan then walked and Vladimir Frias singled. Pitch, ground ball, hard hit, third base side, and the count 0-1. But on both times, the error, the first time on Haug, the second time on Baca, or it's reversed, the first time on Baca, the second time on Haug, I should say, allowed a runner to advance from second to third on a stolen base. And both times, singles came directly thereafter. The question is, would they have scored on those singles? And I think on the one to right field, maybe not. The one to left, probably yes. You're going off the bat. Pitch, swing and a miss from Davidson Romero. Either way, whether the runs are earned or unearned to Adrian Cook, it's a 2-1 lead for the Long Island Ducks. Sam Travis on first. Davidson Romero at the plate. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball foul, third base side. And it's fielded over in the bullpen by Matt Latos. Gives a bit of a curtain call to the fans and just threw that ball. He threw the ball into a completely empty section at absolutely nobody. I can't believe that. I don't think there's anybody within maybe 30 or 40 feet of that one. Pitch, called strike 3. Davidson Romero does not like the call from the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. Either way, Adrian Cook ends the third inning the same way he ends the second inning with a strikeout. He allows 1 run. The Blue Crabs trail 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. And you're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Braxton Lee, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Oh, we are back in the bottom of the third inning. The first pitch is fouled off from Michael Baca down the third baseline. Just the dribbler that the ball boy DJ picks up. Count no balls and one strike on Michael Baca. Meanwhile, Ryan Meisinger out there for his third inning of work. Ducks scored one in the second, one in the third. The Blue Crabs have just one run. That came back in the bottom of the second. Pitch, hard line drive to left. Coming in and diving the left fielder. Oh, what a terrific catch by Matt Chamberlain, who robs a base hit from Michael Baca. Baca had that one hit on the nose, but Chamberlain came in and robbed a base hit from the righty. Hit that ball probably about as well as any ball has been hit so far in this game, but Chamberlain comes up with a big-time catch. Here comes Jack Sundberg. First pitch is upstairs in the count, 1 ball and no strikes on Jack Sundberg, who's seen his batting average rise significantly. He was down in the low 230s, upper 220s for a significant period of time, but he's all the way up to 257 to start today's ball game. He is 0 for 1. Pitch called strike, that looked away, but it's a called strike nonetheless by the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, that last called strike, it was a called strike 3 on Ryan Haug. Everybody who saw that said it looked outside. Pitch upstairs, count 2-1. And the TrackMan technology said that it was on the outside corner. I don't want to say this for sure, but I think the TrackMan might need a recalibration because that didn't look anywhere close. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. That's low in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Either way, I do think it's an effective tool to give you an idea of how far a ball's gone on exit velocity and pitcher velocity. I think for the most part it's pretty accurate, but you know, up by an inch here, an inch there, and I think that one was just a little outside to Ryan Haug on the called strike 3. 3-1 pitch to Sundberg. That's up and away. It's ball 4. And Jack Sundberg walks with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning. Meisinger has not been immune to the walks. He walked David Harris earlier in today's ball game. And here comes Michael Wolanski. .30 steals on the year for Jack Sundberg. He's 30 for 35. As Wolanski steps back in from the right side. First pitch is going to have to wait as Meisinger tosses over to first to check on Sundberg. Wolanski will be followed by Collier here in the bottom of the third. Meisinger, pitch. Big wave and a miss, high fastball, and Wolanski swings through it. Michael Wolanski, after popping out back in the first inning, has seen his batting average drop to an even 300 with the Blue Crabs. It's the lowest mark it's been at after he started his time with Southern Maryland absolutely red hot, and he's still hitting the ball rather well. But time is called by the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. He hit a home run back on Wednesday night. When you think back to the last time we played was on Wednesday. It's Saturday right now. A rain out yesterday before we got going. A rain out on Thursday in the bottom of the first inning. Runner goes in the pitch. It's upstairs. Throw to second's a good one. They got him. Oh, and Sundberg can't believe it. It was a bang-bang play there at second base. A terrific throw from the catcher. That's Carlos Castro. It was a really, really close play. Either way, there are now 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. Jack Sundberg didn't get a bad jump, but I think Carlos Castro probably saw it coming with 1 out, trying to advance to second base to put a runner in scoring position, and Sundberg is caught stealing. Just the 6th time this year. Pitch is up and in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike on Michael Wolanski. That takes any momentum the Blue Crabs thought they might have out of the equation. I said Michael Wolanski up and Collier will follow. Not necessarily anymore, but the 2-1 pitch is low and away. Count 3-1. Might have to wait to see Collier until the 4th inning. Remember, fans, just a 7-inning ball game, as the Ducks lead it 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd, so think of this more like the bottom of the 5th. I do find it more exciting with these 7-inning ball games. Just every inning, every at-bat means much more. Pitch fouled back toward us, but it hits the netting in front of us, and the count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1. The Ducks over the Blue Crabs. And it's just a few minutes past 5 o'clock. Pitch is low, it's ball 4. And Wolanski reaches on a walk after Jack Sundberg walked. So back-to-back walks issued by Ryan Meisinger. And it makes the caught stealing of Jack Sundberg all that much more important. Would be 2 on with 1 out. Instead, there's 1 on with 2 outs and nobody in scoring position. With Wolanski on first base, pitch to Collier is inside. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Wouldn't be stunned to see Wolanski try and steal. He's 3 for 3 in stolen bases with the Blue Crabs, 5 for 5 overall. He was 2 for 2 when he was with the Ducks. Tosses to first to check on his former teammate, or Meisinger. Actually, Meisinger was not a former teammate of Wolanski. Meisinger was in AAA to start the year. So he was never a teammate of Wolanski's, and then Wolanski was traded to the Blue Crabs, and Meisinger was added by the Ducks. Pitch upstairs, snap throw to second, to first base, I should say, and McGowan catches the ball pretty high and allows Wolanski to easily get back to the bag. Count 2 balls and no strikes, 2 outs, bottom 3rd. Blue Crabs scored 1 run back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That came via a sacrifice fly from Braxton Lee. It scored David Harris, who led off the inning with a walk. Blue Crabs 1 run on 1 hit. The Ducks 2 runs on 3 hits. Pitch low and in, and the count 3 balls and no strikes. And now Meisinger at risk of walking his 3rd consecutive batter. A walk to Sundberg, a walk to Wolanski, and now behind 3-0 in the count to Zach Collier. And we talked about that stolen base with a caught stealing already, but plays an even bigger role at this point if he ends up walking Collier behind in the count 3-0. Here's the pitch. Taking all the way. It's a called strike on the outside corner, and the count 3-1. And no bend at the knees at all from Zach Collier on that last pitch. Takes a couple of partial practice swings. And Meisinger comes set. 3-1, wave and a miss. Collier got the green light that time and swung through it, and the count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's a familiar refrain. We said it once already when Sundberg was at the plate. Ended up walking. It's a 2-1 lead for the Ducks. Pitch, runner goes way upstairs and outside. It's ball 4. A walk to Sundberg, a walk to Wolanski, and a walk to Collier. That's the bottom of the 3rd inning for Ryan Meisinger. He's still only allowed 1 run, but they're going to have a meeting at the mound as things have gone sideways for Ryan Meisinger. Let's go back through his outing thus far. Had a 1-2-3 first inning. Struck out Sundberg. He struck out Collier. Things started to turn a little bit back in the 2nd inning. He walked Harris, allowed a single to Crosby. A balk advanced them a base apiece. A sacrifice fly from Braxton Lee, a fly out from Walker, but he finished the inning there with a strikeout to Haug, and things looked like they'd be on the right path, but here in the third. A hard line out from Baca and 3 consecutive walks. He's lucky to have 2 outs as his catcher Carlos Castro bailed him out on a terrific throw to second to catch Jack Sundberg stealing. Well, David Harris steps in. First pitch called strike. On the outer half of the plate, in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Wolanski on second, Collier on first with 2 away. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. A hardy cut that time from David Harris. It was on the outside corner, on the count 0-2. If necessary, Alex Crosby to follow David Harris. And now time called by the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. Well, light breeze coming in from right center as Meisinger is now going to step off the mound. He tries to deal with David Harris, who is 2 for 9 on the homestand with an RBI and a double. In the month of July, he hit .323. Pitch low in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Alex Crosby on deck. He's just 3 for 19 in this homestand. If you're looking for someone who's had a terrific homestand, you got to look to Braxton Lee. He's in the hole. We'll follow Alex Crosby. Pitch to David Harris, close, just missed off the outside edge in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. When we talk about the familiar 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs refrain, well, this time 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 2-1 Ducks in the bottom of the third. Lots of 2s. Here's the pitch, runners go, foul back. Looked like Harris had the green light and wanted to hit and run on that play. Otherwise, Blue Crabs would have been trying to advance 2 runners with 2 outs, and not a bad idea to try to put 2 in scoring position with a 3-2 count coming up, but see if the runners are going again. Here's the 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming to Harris. And Meisinger is going to step off. A lengthy 3rd inning. Has not even surrendered a run yet, but you've walked 3 consecutive batters, worked a lot of deep counts. It's going to happen. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Went a little bit low, Harris swung over it, and that ends the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Ducks 2, the Blue Crabs 1, they strand 2. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, Carlos Castro gets the Ducks started in the top of the fourth inning. Austin Rooney, happy to have you with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. The Ducks 2 and the Blue Crabs 1, as Adrian Cook has gone 3+ innings of work now. And he has allowed 2 runs, just 1 earned. The big positive for the Blue Crabs starter Adrian Cook is that he's walked just 1 batter. He did hit 1 as well, but compare that to his last start where he walked 8 across 4 1/3. It's a major step in the right direction. Pitch. Swinging a line drive, hard hit, left field side. It gets in for a base hit. Castro rounds first. Takes a long turn, but a strong throw from Jack Sundberg holds him to a long single. And there's a runner on first base with nobody out for the Long Island Ducks to get things started. Jack Sundberg has played a couple of balls really effectively in left. Held Sam Travis to a long single on the ball off the wall and holds Carlos Castro to a long single to get things started in the fourth. Here is Jackson McGowan. He walked his first time up. The first pitch is away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Blue Crabs coming to this one 2.5 games back of the North Division. In the second half, 63-28 overall, the best record overall by nearly 20 games in the North Division. Pitch is fouled back, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Crabs, of course, have already clinched a playoff spot. That happened after winning the first half title in historic fashion. 48-18, good for a .727 winning percentage. You come in when the gates open, you might see some players with some .727 t-shirts on as the pitch is low and the count 2-1. Representing the best winning percentage in Atlantic League history for a single half. Just to put this in perspective, there are 2 halves a year. The Atlantic League's been going on for 25 years. Runner goes, pitch, swing a high pop up in the infield. Castro's got to retreat to first base, has no idea where the ball is. Sundberg comes into the infield, he drops it, and now he flips to first base as Michael Baca totally lost in the sun. Terrific job by Jack Sundberg to sprint all the way in from left field. He nearly made the catch as he tried to basket it and then tossed to second base to Michael Wolanski, who was there. Baca completely lost it in the sun off the bat. Either way, a terrific job by Jack Sundberg. The awareness to know that Baca didn't have it, and then to run all the way into the infield to get that ball and flip to Wolanski to save it out. How about that? The outfielder's picking you up. I guess it goes down as a fielder's choice, as McGowan is aboard. Not every day you pop into a fielder's choice. But that's the case, as Sundberg was on the infield grass when he almost made the play on that ball. Pitch is low. The count 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty Vladimir Frias, who drove in a run his last time up. At the time, there were runners on first and third. With 2 outs, Frias has seen his batting average climb as well. It was just a shade over 200 the last time the Ducks were here, which was just under a month ago. Pitch, ground ball, right field side, another seeing eye single through the right. Oh, it's right in between Jared Walker and Michael Wolanski. A couple of base hits that he really could not have drawn up any better. I mean, the path that ball took to evade the glove of Walker and then evade Michael Wolanski as well at second, and all of a sudden, 2 on with 1 out in the top of the fourth inning. Not hard hit balls that Cook has allowed, with the exception of that leadoff single from Carlos Castro. First pitch is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Dustin Woodcock. Woodcock will be followed by Phil Caulfield. The pitch, that's outside, count 2-0. Frias on first. Over at second base, it's Jackson McGowan who reached on the fielder's choice pop-up. And Woodcock, the 9-hitter. Still taking a couple of practice swings while Adrian Cook resets. The pitch, this one top foul. First base side, count 2 balls and 1 strike. Woodcock struck out swinging to end the second inning. Here we are on the top of the 4th. Ducks 2 and the Blue Crabs 1, but the Ducks are looking to add on to that lead. With a runner in scoring position and 1 out, also have 2 on and 1 out. Defense playing pretty much straight up on Dustin Woodcock. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, center field, very playable for Zach Collier. Takes a couple steps back, now steps in. He fires into the second baseman, Wilansky, tagging from second to third. It's Jackson McGowan. So there are runners on first and third with 2 outs as Woodcock hit that ball well, but right at the center fielder, Zach Collier. Back to the top of the lineup, it's Phil Caulfield who comes to the plate. Caulfield grounded to second. He also singled and scored a run back in the 3rd inning. Phil Caulfield restraps the batting gloves. Caulfield's got a unique batting stance, has that front foot, just his toe. First pitch called strike. Vladimir Frias takes off for second, dives in safely, also loses his helmet, doesn't even draw a throw from Ryan Haug. And he lost his helmet when he dove in. In hindsight, it looks kind of foolish that he dove in, and now the trainer is going to come out to check on him. I think most people thought at first he was just joking around laying on the second base bag, but clearly not anymore, as the trainer is going to come out to have a chat with him and see how he is. That helmet may have actually hurt him as it hit the bag as he dove into second base. And it looks like we at least have a delay in the action for the meantime. And he has his head up from the base. And I'm not sure if, you look at things like concussion protocol and situations like this when it involve head injuries. For the meantime, Michael Baca has his helmet. And fans give him applause as he gets back to his feet. Baca spinning the batter's helmet in his arm as Vladimir Frias continues to try to work things out. He's moving his right hand. I don't know if it was possibly his right hand that got tangled up when he dove in to second base, or if it was his helmet. His helmet flew off. That was the notable thing, but it could have also been a situation where he hurt his hand diving in. Either way, he's going to stay in this ball game. The trainer returns to the dugout, and they're going to be 2 on with 2 out, 2 in scoring position with 2 out for the Ducks. An opportunity to extend that lead from 2-1 to 4-1. And now looks like he's going to get a cup of water as well. Not entirely sure why he's getting a little cup of water here. I thought we were all set to get going and keep on playing, but he might have gotten hit in the mouth. That's a possibility. Not sure if he has any blood in his mouth or anything, if that batter's helmet ended up clipping him, trying to rinse out his mouth. Again, I'm sort of at a loss here. I'm just guessing as to what the issue could be with Vladimir Frias. Either way, we do know one thing, and that's that he's going to stay in this ball game. And there will be runners on second and third with 2 outs when we resume play, and it looks like that time is now. As Phil Caulfield digs back in. He took off on the first pitch. Counts no balls and 1 strike on the lefty. Cook pitch shows bunt. He actually tried to do a drag bunt down the first base line, but didn't get it down, and counts no balls and 2 strikes. Try to steal a base hit. Shakes off the catcher, Haug. Pitch, ground ball. This one headed over to second. It's lazy for Michael Wolanski. He fields it, and he fires to first. A routine final out as Adrian Cook runs himself into trouble, but he gets out of the jam unscathed in the 4th. It's 2-1 Ducks. The Blue Crabs coming to bat when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 2-1 Ducks as Ryan Meisinger back out on the mound. Pitch. This one a high chopper over to first base. It's fielded bell time by the first baseman Jackson McGowan, who steps on first. A high chopper, but he had to charge in on that ball to make sure it was at a playable height, and he does. And so there is one away in the bottom of the 4th inning. If you've been listening to our broadcast for a long time, you know when we have day games, you've got a war with the Wasps going on up here. And they're not all that many Wasps, but the Wasps are massive. I mean, these are 2 to 3 inch Wasps. And they come and terrorize us upstairs in the booth. So I just saw the first one about 30 seconds ago as it flew by us. As first pitch is in there for a called strike on Braxton Lee. Had to take a couple out. They've always been threatening me up here. We're also going to get to some shout-outs on our YouTube chat in just a couple of moments. 0-1 pitch. Upstairs in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dylan Huff says, Crabs. Tammy Shipley said, loved hearing Jared's pregame interview. Happy Saturday, everybody. Go Blue Crabs. Tammy, we're very happy that you enjoyed the interview. If you have not had a chance, go back to the beginning of our broadcast and give it a listen. Very much enjoyed it. The pitch is low to Braxton Lee in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Luis Montgomery says, good luck, guys. And J.C. Moore asks about the designated hitter with the double hook rule. And she asks, is it the same for doubleheaders? The answer is yes, it is the same. 2-1 pitch is low. And the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Wes Mumper says, let's go Crabs, time to duck hunt. You might need to head down to Possum Point Lodge to do some duck hunting, and maybe we can do some here in Southern Maryland as well. 2-1 pitch, swinging a high pop-up, center field, not all that deep. De Aza there and under it, he makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Well, across 3 2/3 innings, Ryan Meisinger has certainly struggled with the walks. He's walked 4 batters, but he's allowed just 1 hit. It was a single through the right side from Alex Crosby. We've talked about seeing eye singles that sort of find their own path to the outfield, somehow avoiding the fielders. And we've seen a couple of them from Long Island. The lone hit for the Blue Crabs, though, was one of those seeing eye singles through the right side. 2 away, bottom of the 4th for Jared Walker. And again, we heard from him earlier today on our pregame show. Pitch, hard ground ball through the right side. That's a base hit. That one struck perfectly by Jared Walker. And one of the things we talked about was, is he a power hitter? Is he a contact hitter? And he said that he didn't want to see any one of either contact, power, or walking as well fall at all. And we've seen him walk a ton this year. Other than Jack Sundberg, he's at the top of this team in that walks category. And he's also, of course, shown the power. 15 home runs is the most home runs on the Blue Crabs. Walker has walked 62 times. Sundberg, 63. Pitch, line drive to right. That falls for a base hit. Runners go station to station. An opposite field single for Ryan Haug, who trots into first base. And there are 2 on with 2 out. As Michael Baca hit the ball on the screws first time up, but just so happened to line out to Matt Chamberlain in the left. So after a ground out to first from Crosby, a fly out to center from Lee, it's a single from Jared Walker and a single from Ryan Haug. Well, I said that Ryan Meisinger had only allowed 1 hit through 3 2/3. Well, in back-to-back batters, he's allowed 2 hits. Another meeting at the mound for the Long Island Ducks. It's a warm day outside, not brutal. I mean, there have been some really tough days here in Waldorf recently. It's also some cloud cover, although not a ton. It is mostly sunny out right now, which does provide a little bit of shade for those down low in the stands. A hot August afternoon. Pitch called strike at the knees, count 0-1 to Michael Baca. Well, Meisinger trying to work his way out of the 4th inning. The Blue Crabs with no action in their pen as Adrian Cook intends to go back on the mound for the Blue Crabs. Well, following Baca, back to the top of the order if necessary. 0-1 pitch, hard fastball on the outside corner. And Derek Moshe gives the called strike signal. Count 0-2. As Sundberg would follow. For now, it's Michael Baca, who's 0 for 1 today with the line out to left. Walker from second. It's Haug from first. 0-2 pitch. That one bounces in front of home plate. Nicely blocked by the catcher. Carlos Castro got in front of the ball and holds the runners in place at first and second. The Blue Crabs' best opportunity earlier today came back in the 2nd inning when they had 2nd and 3rd with nobody out following a balk from Meisinger. But a sac fly to left did not allow Crosby to advance to third. And the fly out from Jared Walker, the very next batter, was not enough to bring home Crosby. It merely advanced him to third. As a result, Haug went down on strikes to end the inning. The Blue Crabs got 1 run, did not get 2. Pitch. So an inside-out swing. It jammed him in on the hands. Popped up to first base. McGowan's got it. He makes the catch for the final out. While the Blue Crabs strand 2, they score none at the end of 4 innings of play. It's the Blue Crabs 1 and the Ducks 2 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Oh, here's my. Well, Matt Chamberlain gets us started in the top of the 5th inning. 2-1, the Ducks lead over the Blue Crabs. Chamberlain, De Aza, and Travis, 2, 3, and 4 in the Ducks order, as Long Island leads this one 2-1. First pitch from Adrian Cook. Breaking ball, big wave and a miss, in the count 0-1. Chamberlain 0 for 2. He grounded to second back in the first inning and then popped out to the catcher. That came back in the third. Here's the pitch. A little bit low. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Austin Rooney, glad everybody has joined us this afternoon for Game 1 of this doubleheader between the Blue Crabs and the Ducks. Game 2 will be just over 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. Pitch, high fly ball, center field, well struck. Collier back in front of the warning track where he makes the catch for the first out. And there is one away. Well, Southern Maryland comes into this one with back-to-back days off after rainouts, and as we get toward the 6th and 7th inning, you have to start to think about bullpen and who might be used, and do you want to save this pitcher for Game 2, or can you pitch this pitcher both in Game 1 and Game 2? And the real benefit is that you're only playing 7-inning games, so what would theoretically be probably 4 bullpen innings are no longer bullpen innings in the 8th and 9th in both of these games. Pitch. Called strike at the bell on the outside corner to Alejandro de Aza. And the count, no balls and 1 strike on the lefty, who came into this game with the highest batting average in the Atlantic League. He still does have the highest batting average, but he's flying out to right and struck out so far against Adrian Cook. 0-1 pitch on the ground to first base, fielded just below the waist by Jared Walker. He steps on the bag. There are 2 away. 3 at-bats for the Atlantic League leader in batting average and 3 outs, as Sam Travis will come to the plate with 2 away in the top of the 5th. Ducks 2, Blue Crabs 1 from the Reg in Waldorf. We're going to have a trivia question for Game 2 of this doubleheader. It's about home runs. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, well, where we'll be headed. That tells you about as much as I'll give you until Game 2, so you got to tune in for Game 2 of the broadcast to hear the trivia question tonight. First pitch is a breaking ball low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Pitch called strike. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on the righty. Count 1-1 on the cleanup hitter, Sam Travis. Pitch. Oh, came up and in and hit him. A breaking ball that missed its target. It came way up and in on Sam Travis. Doesn't appear to be in a ton of pain, but that never feels good. I think it hit him in the shoulder area. It came up a little bit high. He's got that part of the batting helmet that protects the cheek area. It's become a lot more popular in Major League Baseball. For a long time, it was just the one ear that was covered. And now a lot of guys have the whole cheek area toward the chin on the one side. And it's one of those things where why not have that protection if you can use it? It could help out. So I don't think it hit him in that chin area, but I think it was just a little below there in the shoulder. Pitch called strike on the outside corner to Davidson Romero. So Chamberlain flied out to center. Alejandro de Aza ground out to first. And Sam Travis hit by a pitch. The third free pass given by Adrian Cook. Keep in mind he's walked just 1, though. Pitch. A little bit inside, and the count 1-1 on the righty, Davidson Romero. Wind picking up a little bit here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Temperatures earlier this week on the AccuWeather Real Feel came in right at 110. Only in the low 90s today, so comparatively not that bad. Pitch a little bit low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike now on Romero. And a little wind will always help at least a little bit. And I'm sure as we get closer to Game 2 of this doubleheader, the crowd will fill in some more. It's already filled in quite a bit here in Game 1. The pitch, that's on the outside corner, and the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first base for Long Island. Adrian Cook looking to work out of what's been an easier 5th inning to this point, with the exception of the hit batsman. 2-2, that's low. Tried to get Davidson Romero to bite. He would not, in the count 3-2. Well, right on cue, and Adrian Cook is at risk of walking another batter and putting another runner on base, as there are 3 balls in the count. Well, a similar refrain. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Only 1 on this time, but the Ducks still lead by 1. Top of the 5th inning. Pitch. Breaking ball. Called. Strike 3. Davidson Romero Can't believe it. He's gone down looking for the second time tonight as Derek Moshe rings him up to end the top of the 5th inning. Well, the Ducks strand one. At the end of 4.5, it's the Blue Crabs 1, the Ducks 2. We go to the bottom of the 5th when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We join you in the bottom of the 5th inning, but think of it more like the bottom of the 7th inning as we're playing a 7-inning doubleheader, the first of 2, as the first pitch is a called strike at the knees on Jack Sundberg. The Ducks 2, the Blue Crabs 1 on a Saturday afternoon in early August. August 6th to be exact. Pitch popped it up, first base side. It is the first baseman, Jackson McGowan, who gets under it and makes the catch despite a fan screaming, trying to distract him. And there is one away. Sundberg 0 for 2 this afternoon. As Michael Wolanski will now step in. Michael Wolanski 0 for 1 with a walk. He reached second back in the 3rd inning, but was not able to come around and score. Pitch, breaking ball, called strike. Ryan Meisinger has looked better as the game has gone along. And that curveball he just dropped in was terrific. There is some action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. I'd imagine Adrian Cook's afternoon is over. Pitch upstairs in the count. Now 1 ball and 1 strike on Michael Wolanski. Working on fixing that center field camera for you. So we'll have both up and available for you for the 6th inning. Pitch is upstairs and the count 2-1. Patrick Baker appears to be warming for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. We talked with Stan Clyburn earlier midweek. Pitch, it's a called strike, and the count 2-2 now on Wolanski. And Latos was shut down for about 10 days on Wednesday. After Tuesday night's loss against High Point, a game the Blue Crabs really should have won, as that one's away, and the count 3-2 now on Michael Wolanski. Base paths are empty with 1 out. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nobody on. Numbers going descending order this time in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, ball 4 for the second time in as many plate appearances. Michael Wolanski has reached via the walk. And here comes Zach Collier.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 8, Zach Collier.
Collier 0 for 1. He's also walked once. Runner on first base with 1 out. Back to that last point, though, when I spoke with Stan Clyburn earlier this week, he told me that Patrick Baker would fill in for what is typically Andres Briseño's spot in the 8th inning, and then Briseño would assume Latos' role in the 9th. That is a check swing from Collier, but he fouled it back to the netting inadvertently. In the count, no balls and 1 strike. There is 1 away in the bottom of the 5th, but a runner on first base now for Southern Maryland. That's the tying run. And Meisinger fires the first yet again to check on the runner. Count remains no balls and 1 strike on the lefty Collier after the foul ball. Meisinger set, pitch a little bit inside. Count 1 ball and 1 strike as Collier looked back at the home plate umpire Derek Moshe for confirmation. In game 2, Nate Caldwell will be behind the plate. PJ McConville shifts to first, and Moshe will be at third, but have to wait for that. And the 1-1 pitch, that's low and in, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. As things cool down here in the evening. Couple of practice swings for Zach Collier as we await the 2-1 pitch. This one is swung on and lifted in the air to right field. It's shallow. Dustin Woodcock comes in and makes the catch for the second out. So after a pop out from Sundberg, a walk to Wolanski, it is Zach Collier who flies out to shallow right and keeps Wolanski at first base. Give you a couple of metrics in today's ball game. The furthest ball hit today, 325 feet from Dustin Woodcock. DeAza hit one 323, Travis 320, and Braxton Lee's sacrifice fly was 311. The first pitch, pretty good, but a little inside on David Harris, and the count 1-0. And the exit velocities, or the lack thereof, real testament to how well these two pitchers have done so far this afternoon. Pitch, line drive, shallow left, coming in and shading himself from the sun. It's Chamberlain who makes the catch at the last moment. Had to bend down, protect his eyes from the sun as it was coming right at him, and he makes the catch to end the bottom of the 5th inning. The Blue Crabs strand 1 at the end of 5. It's the Ducks 2 and the Blue Crabs 1 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, Carlos Castro will get us started in the top of the 6th inning. It is a 2-1 lead for the Long Island Ducks, and the first pitch is a called strike. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. The 0-1 offering from Adrian Cook is low and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Patrick Baker was warming up. He has since sat down. Now it's Alcis Herrera, who has not yet entered in a game for the Blue Crabs, who's warming up for Southern Maryland. Pitch, high fly ball. This one hit to left center. Very playable for Jack Sundberg, who moves over and makes the catch. And there is 1 away. There's no arguing that Cook has been really, really good so far. Across 5 1/3 innings, 2 runs. He's allowed 5 hits. And he has walked just 1 batter. He has hit 2, but just 1 walk. And the pitch, that's low in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Base paths are empty in the top of the 6th inning. One 0 pitch, called strike. That one just below the belt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Right. Now there's no way it was a ball. Pretty sure that Moshe called that a strike, and our scoreboards up here have it as a ball. Whatever the count is, that most recent pitch is now a ball. Our scoreboard has it as now it's 2-1. Okay, that's the right count. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. I was surprised for a moment because our scoreboard, it almost always has it right there. Had it at 2-0, and the count was actually 1-1. Now the count is 2-1, and now the 2-1 pitch is a called strike, and the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away in the top of the 6th. As Jackson McGowan digs back in, the shadows cutting right across the middle of the infield. Two-two. Popped it up in the infield. Adrian Cook ducks for cover as Michael Belansky takes a few steps onto the grass and makes the catch for the 2nd out. 2 up and 2 down. And Vladimir Frias will come to the plate. Nobody on, 2 outs, top of the 6th. 2-1 Ducks. There's been no scoring at all since the 3rd inning. Anyone else would like a shout out in today's game? Let us know. As we're on the top of the 6th, we might as well be in the top of the 8th, though, as the pitch is a little bit low and in, count 1-0, as this is only a 7-inning ball game. Blue Crabs will have 2 more chances to try to tie this game. The Ducks, after this, would have just 1, as Vladimir Frias, the lefty, is there, and the 1-0 pitch is also in there for a called strike. On the inner half of the plate to the lefty, Frias is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. As his batting average tiptoes towards 250. 1-1 pitch, a little bit low in the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Frias, somebody who has been one of the most reliable Ducks batters recently in the last couple of years. The pitch, called strike 2, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just to give you an idea on the velocity from the 2 starters, it's Meisinger's thrown as high as 93.8, but sitting right around 91. Cook at 92.7. As the 2-2 pitch is up and away, count 3 balls and 2 strikes. With the fastball, Adrian Cook sitting 90-91. Topped out at 92.7 miles an hour as he throws both a sinker and a four-seamer. The breaking pitch has been a slider tonight. Here is the delivery. That one's lined hard toward the parking lot area. Hope that no cars got hit. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Exactly what Adrian Cook was looking for after a couple of really tough goes in his first 2 starts. And the 1 walk is the number that stands out. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to short, should do it. Fielded between the legs by Baca. He fires to first. A 1, 2, 3, 6th inning for Adrian Cook, who's dominated this evening. He's held the Ducks to just 2 runs on 5 hits. The Blue Crabs looking to have the bats come alive when we come back.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Well, Alex Crosby steps in to get things going in the bottom of the 6th inning. Austin Rooney, happy to have you with us. The Blue Crabs still trail the Ducks by 1, and the new pitcher for the Long Island Ducks is Jose. That's all. Just a couple of Jose's. It's all that you need for the Ducks to try to get this one to the 7th inning without allowing another run. First pitch called strike, and the count, no balls and 1 strike on Alex Crosby. A couple of pitchers that you'd expect to see here in the 6th and 7th. Jose, who's posted a 1.08 ERA across 8 1/3 innings with the Ducks, and I'd imagine they'll hand it off to Tyler Webb in the 7th. Pitch popped him up behind home plate. Who's going to call it off? It ends up being the catcher, Carlos Castro, who makes the call and makes the catch, and there is 1 away. So Ryan Meisinger, his night's over. He went 5+, or just 5 innings, did not try to enter the 6th. And he ended up walking 4 batters and allowing, or 5 batters, I should say, and allowing 3 hits. 8 base runners across 5 innings. Not terrible. It's a 1.60 whip, but the ERA for tonight, that will be pretty strong. 1 run across 5 innings, good for a 1.80 ERA. As Alcis Herrera continues to warm up for the Blue Crabs, as Braxton Lee fouls this one back in the count 0-1. Alcis Herrera joined the Blue Crabs earlier this week as one of a flurry of recent additions to this pitching staff. Adrian Cook was added just a couple of weeks ago. Cody Strayer came in along with him, and now Alcis Herrera, the most recent addition. The bats have stayed rather consistent throughout the year. Pitch, high fly ball, left field. This one drifts back in front of the warning track. Chamberlain is there, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. Rather well struck from Braxton Lee, who might have been looking for his 4th home run in his last 6 games. Lee did not have a home run in his first 86 games of the season. But across his last 4, well, or 5, I should say, well, he's got 3 home runs. So a recent power surge, all 3 coming over that mini monster in left field, opposite field home runs. But not quite enough that time. So a pop out from Crosby, a fly out from Lee, and now there are 2 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. Lefty-lefty with Jose and Jared Walker at the plate. Pitch, that one's fouled back. And the count, no balls and 1 strike on Walker. Might be seeing some double barrel action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. I think, based on how much Alcis Herrera has been warming up, that he'd probably be the answer in the 7th, but I was about to say Andres Briseño might end up coming into the game, but he's sitting down on the bench, or although it at least appears as though he is. Kind of a long way from my vantage point. Tough to see exactly. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, right field. This one looked like it was probably going deeper than it actually did, as the right fielder Dustin Woodcock actually takes a step in and makes the catch for the final out. Walker got just a little bit under that ball, and it looked like off the bat it might leave the ballpark. Instead, just a fly out to right to end the 6th inning. Blue Crabs go down in order 1, 2, 3. It's the Ducks 2, it's the Blue Crabs 1 as we go to the top of the 7th.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service.
Well, we are back from Regency Furniture Stadium. It is a 2-1 Ducks lead in the top of the 7th, but think of it like the top of the 9th inning because this is the first of 2 in a doubleheader, and each game in this doubleheader is just 7 innings. Alcis Herrera, the first pitch is a called strike. It's the first pitch of his Blue Crabs career. Herrera was signed by the Blue Crabs back on August 2nd. Started the season in Mexico. As the pitch is a called strike on the outside corner in the lefty-lefty matchup in the count 0-2. Made one start for Diablos Rojos del Mexico. It's the Mexican Red Devils. 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? They motion down to third. Yes, he did. P.J. McConville puts up his fist to indicate that the leadoff hitter, Dustin Woodcock, goes down swinging in the top of the 7th. Woodcock is out, and now it's back to the top of the order for Phil Caulfield, who was 1 for 3 so far today. Last year, Herrera pitched with the Gastonia Honey Hunters, making 6 starts, had a 1-6 record, a 1-5 record, I should say, 1.76 whip, and a 6.59 ERA. First pitch is a called strike on Phil Caulfield in the count 0-1. Give you a little more of an idea on Alcis Herrera. He is mostly a starter. Pitch, tap, foul behind home plate in the count 0-2. And I'd imagine that if Adrian Cook had struggled this evening, that Alcis Herrera would probably be slotted in to make his next start. But Cook was successful tonight. 6 innings, 2 hits, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, I should say. Did hit a couple of batters, but all things considered, a very good start. Pitch. 0-2 is low in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. As the crowd really starts to fill up here on Saturday evening. A lot of fans thought that this was just a regular game starting at 6:30 and did not hear about the doubleheader that began at 4 p.m. Herrera steps off. Dustin Woodcock at the plate. Here's the pitch. Hard line drive to right. It's foul territory toward the Ducks bullpen. In the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. As Phil Caulfield digs back in. Pitch, line drive, hard hit up the middle for a base hit. Phil Caulfield puts that ball right back where it came from. It's a 1-out base hit. And Matt Chamberlain now comes to the plate. Well, Alcis Herrera clearly got ahead in the count early to Dustin Woodcock. Had an 0-2 count and put him away on 3 strikes and was ahead in the count 0-2 on Phil Caulfield. That last pitch, though, over the plate, caught a little too much of the plate and singled back up the middle. Herrera has played as high as Double-A. That happened in 2017 with the Cleveland Indians organization. First pitch is low and away, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Herrera set at the belt. The pitch, big swing and a miss, count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on first base for the Long Island Ducks, who lead this game by 1. We're on the top of the 7th. A final regulation inning of game 1 of this doubleheader. Runner goes, they got him caught. Terrific pickoff move by Alcis Herrera as Jared Walker tags him out. Caulfield tried a shifty move there on the bases. Tried to fake out Jared Walker, but Walker got the best of him and tagged him out for the 2nd out. So Alcis Herrera gives up a base hit, but a terrific pickoff move to first base gets Caulfield caught off guard, and there is There are 2 away, I should say, with nobody on base. The 1-1 pitch, a called strike. Count 0-2. Matt Chamberlain is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. Hard line drive to the right field side toward the kids' pen. And it finds its way directly inside that kids' park. Are any of the kids going after it? I'm not seeing any of them go after it. I think it got past the netting there. As a number of kids go in after the ball. Not sure if anyone grabbed it or not. The 0-2 pitch, that's called strike 3. Matt Chamberlain gets rung up by the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe. And that ends the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs have their work cut out for them in the bottom of the 7th. They need to get at least 1 off of Tyler Webb to keep this ball game alive. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Braxton Lee, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, the pitchers have held up their side of the bargain. As they've gone 7 innings, have allowed just 2 runs, but the Blue Crabs bats are yet to hold up their end of the bargain. Just 1 run across 6 innings. I said Tyler Webb would be entering here in the 7th, as it's almost a foregone conclusion that he normally does. Pitch called strike, and the count 0-1. Instead, it's Jose, who is back out for his 2nd inning of work, and he deals a called strike on Ryan Haug to get things started. No action right now in the Ducks bullpen. Andres Briseño for the Blue Crabs is up in case this one does go into extra innings. Pitch, line drive to left. This one falling and falling fast. It's a base hit in front of the left fielder, Matt Chamberlain, who fields it on 1 bounce and fires into the shortstop. The tying run is on base for the Blue Crabs. The go-ahead run, the winning run, really, is at the plate. Ryan Haug now exits the ball game. It's Matt Hibbert, a pinch runner who enters for Southern Maryland. Blue Crabs trailing 2-1. And whether or not Matt Hibbert would steal second base at this point, it's questionable. It's a question mark. It's definitely possible. He is the tying run, and you could advance him to second base via a steal, and Baca can maybe advance him to third base on a ground ball or a fly out. All of a sudden, you've got a runner at third base with 1 out. A sac fly ties it. A fielder's choice ties it. Whole lot of ways you can try to get back in this ball game with a runner on first base and nobody out. A base hit, of course, would totally change things. Well, he showed bunt, he pulled back, and Jose then didn't fire the pitch. I'm not quite sure why he didn't fire the pitch, but he did not. And so his time was called by the home plate umpire, Derek Moshe, just in time. Either way, Briseño up and throwing to the Blue Crabs catcher, Mike Falsetti. Baca bunts, first base side down the line. It is a foul ball. Was not a long bunt. It would have done the job, though, as far as advancing Hibbert to second base and making the catcher Carlos Castro make a throw to first base. And that throw is always at a little bit of a tough angle. And should it get by the first baseman, McGowan, it, of course, adds just an extra layer to all of this. No balls, one strike, no out. Hibbert on first base. Jose set. Pitch shows bunt. He pulls back and takes a pitch that was a called strike from home plate umpire, again, Derek Moshe. And Baca was not a major fan of that call. It probably just barely painted the outside corner. That was borderline, though. Either way, Baca at the plate, Sundberg on deck, and doesn't really help Hibbert that it's the lefty Jose who's on the mound as far as trying to steal a base. Alcis Herrera effectively picked off Phil Caulfield back in the top of the seventh. Jose, the 0-2. This one on the ground, just over his head. The toss to second for one. That's all they'll get. As a hard slide from Matt Hibbert breaks up the double play. Vladimir Frias didn't have a throw to first. Well, instead of having Hibbert on first base now, it's Michael Baca on first base. Baca does not run poorly. He is 13 for 15 in stolen bases. I wouldn't see him taking off for second base right now with Jack Sundberg at the plate. I think he'd probably wait until there are two outs, in which point, if Sundberg were to get out here and would not advance Baca, I could see him then stealing with Wolanski at the plate. If you're going to run anybody into an out, might as well be the tying run, trying to advance a base. First pitch, ground ball to the first base side, foul. Never want to run the guy who's the runner prior to the tying run into an out. So with Blue Crabs, let's say we're down 3-1 and Baca was on base, you definitely would not want to run him then. But since he is that tying run, trying to find any way for him to get to the plate. Jose fakes a throw back to first base. Sundberg at the plate. He has 3 home runs. All of those 3 home runs have come in the last week and a half over this homestand and the prior road trip to Lancaster and Long Island. 0-1 pitch. Popped it up. Shallow left field. It's the left fielder Matt Chamberlain who comes in, fights the sun, beats the sun, and makes the out. And there are 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Michael Wolanski. We know he's got home run power. And if the Blue Crabs are looking to win game 1 of this doubleheader, they need Michael Wolanski to come up clutch in the bottom of the 7th. Wolanski's 0 for 1. He walked twice. Back in Wednesday's contest, he was 1 for 4, but he did go deep with a 2-run home run in the first inning. For Michael Wolanski, that was his 6th home run of the year, all 6 coming with the Blue Crabs as Wolanski faces his former team. The first pitch is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Effectively blocked by Carlos Castro, and he's been terrific tonight, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's framed pitches well. More than anything else, prevented balls from getting by him. There have been a few in the dirt that have been undoubtedly difficult. 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Ducks 2, the Blue Crabs 1. Southern Maryland looking to stay alive here in the bottom of the 7th. It's up to Wolanski, the pitch, called strike. The lefty Jose got that one in there for a called strike on the outer half, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Baca not going anywhere right now. Would not be surprised to see him steal on this pitch. Try to put a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. The 1-1, Baca stays put, swing and a miss. Hard fastball, power to pass Wolanski. And the count 1-2. Jose came in the 6th inning. Recorded a 1-2-3 sixth. After a leadoff single from Ryan Haug. A fielder's choice from Michael Baca, a pop out from Jack Sundberg, and the Blue Crabs are now down to their final strike with Mike Wolanski. Jose is set. The 1-2 pitch upstairs, count 2-2. A tough one for Mike Wolanski to lay off of, but he does just that. It's a high fastball. That one almost seems like it's going to get even faster and just raises on you, but it's a trick of the eye more than anything else. Such a tough pitch for so many batters to stay off of, that high fastball. Wolanski manages to live another pitch, though. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1 Ducks. Pitch away, count 3-2. So if Jose were to walk Wolanski, it would put the tying run at second base, the winning run at first base for Zach Collier. Outfielders are awfully deep. Anything to the gap, I'm sure the Blue Crabs would send Baca, but they're going to need Wolanski to get a hit for that. The count 3-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Jose goes 2 innings. He retires 6 out of 7 Blue Crabs and wins the game for the Long Island Ducks as they take this one 2-1 over the Blue Crabs in Game 1. A tough one for Southern Maryland tonight. They fall to 63-29 on the season and 15-11 in the first half. The Blue Crabs are going to have to fight from behind to take this series. They're going to need Game 2. They would also need to win Game 3 tomorrow afternoon. Well, the Blue Crabs fall 2-1 tonight. They have just 1 run on 4 hits. Their pitching staff allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. The Blue Crabs batters did walk 5 times in tonight's ball game, but not enough to muster more than just 1 run this evening. Well, we'll be back with just about 30, maybe 35 minutes for the first pitch in Game 2 of this contest as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs will send Eddie Butler to the mound. The Long Island Ducks send Stephen Tarpley, a pair of former big leaguers going at it in Game 2. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.